Forgot to do the thing. I forgot to do the thing. Sorry, Gabe. Gabe, sorry. Gabe, I forgot to do the thing.
You forgot to do the thing.
That's on me. Me. It'll never happen again. Hi and hello and welcome to Going Over. Let's go.
Yes.
What are you talking over me? You're pretending to be an echo. Like, what's the deal? I can't lead this thing? Like, it's your first guest appearance ever and you're just going to run over me? I'm Fred Slow, of course, across the aisle from me, and I promise you never be on the same side of the aisle. Gabe Gambino. Gabe, I guess welcome to the show, Gabe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's
Yeah,
good.
you want to turn your right microphone on so this thing works right? Is it your first day? Is that what you're doing? You're
Oh
just
my God.
pretending?
What's going on here?
Oh, wild. Isn't that crazy how the thing works when you use it correctly? You want to
Yeah.
start over? You want to let everyone know this is the energy you bring to your job? Like, which one is it?
It's a little bit of both. I feel like
Take your time.
yeah. No, I think we're in business now.
I think I'm in business, and I think you're here alongside me. Welcome to everyone who's on the live chat as we record this bad one for Saturday morning. At the time of this airing on 95.9 FM and AM 610, home of your playoff and Super Bowl coverage, the sports animal. You're listening to Going Over. It's a wonderful Saturday morning. Maybe you're on your way to Comic-Con where Duke City Championship Wrestling is well represented, or maybe you're catching us on the podcast and you're headed down to the historic El Rey Theater tonight because we got a banger of a show at the El Rey tonight. It's going to be too much fun is what it's going to be, and we're going to make sure you get there early and you celebrate with us. We'll go over it at length. But first of all, yesterday was Friday, according to the time of this recording. We're set up at Comic-Con. If you're at the convention center this weekend, come by the Duke City Championship Wrestling booth. Come say hi to us. Paige is there working. She's the absolute best. Big thank you to Eliza Hayes, who was there yesterday. Just a tremendous start to the weekend, and we're pumped. We're pumped that people want to be a part of Duke City Championship Wrestling. It's the largest house we've ever drawn tonight's show, Gabe. Isn't that wild?
It is wild, and well, we have some big names on this show.
Yeah, Hobo Hank.
We got Hobo Hank. We got well, we're bringing in the Samoan Werewolf.
Yeah, you're talking about one Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu, and also, at the time of this recording, we're all hyped because we got to see the panel that you're hosting, Fred.
Yeah, no, and that's Comic-Con related. So you're jumping around a little bit. I'll do my best to keep you from doing a Mario impersonation. So Duke City Championship Wrestling's all weekend long. At Comic-Con. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can catch myself on Saturday afternoon if you're listening to this Saturday morning. Come by the convention center. I'm hosting a fun pro wrestling panel. Trish Stratus will be there. One Kevin Nash will be there. Alongside Booker T himself, the five-time World Heavyweight Champion, Booker T. So that's going to be a banger of a little afternoon. I'm immediately going to skirt out the building over to the historic El Rey. At the historic El Rey, Duke City Championship Wrestling. Doors open at 6. Obviously, Man High performing at 6:30. Thank you, Gabe, for being the front man of that. There's only 2 people in that, so it's hard for you to be the worst one. You still somehow figure it out.
I get to be the handsome one. That's the
there you go.
At least the young one. I'm at least the young one.
You are the younger one. That is 100% true. We got a very special start to the evening. We got a fun national anthem rendition, so we're going to go through that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm going to tell you right now, be butts in the seats. Our opening to the show for Duke City Championship Wrestling is as unique of an opener as you've ever seen to a pro wrestling event. Do not be late. Do not think you can get there in Albuquerque time. Do not for a second go, I hear it. I don't want to hear it from you. Get there early and see how we're starting off a banger of a Saturday night.
We just up the ante every show. Every month, it just gets better and better and better.
My terrestrial talk show, 2 Men On, will not be live from Comic-Con tomorrow. That was been asked by a lot of fans. We're at Safe House. We'll be at Safe House tomorrow. You can come hang out with us. Obviously, we are 4 to 7, but Duke City Championship Wrestling will be represented at Comic-Con. Big week in the world of pro wrestling. Monday Night Raw is in a banger. They're revving up for Royal Rumble. I will be at the Royal Rumble next weekend, so that's going to be a lot of fun. That's January the 27th. Heading out there. gonna enjoy the spectacle. I'm a big spectacle guy. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
It's the most open one I think I've seen, Gabe, in a lot of years. It's I can't tell you who's gonna win. That's what this one is.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of competitors this year that are, you got like Cody Rhodes, you got a lot of amazing, great names. We got to see some of them last week at the Super Show here at the Rio Rancho Event Center, and that was super fun because getting to see it in person was just incredible.
Yeah, you and I did attend the Super Show on Sunday here in Rio Rancho. Two banger of back-to-back performances here in New Mexico for the WWE. What happened was they went down to Las Cruces. They drew, packed the house in Las Cruces. Pan Am Center was a poppin'. They came up here the next night for the Royal Rumble, or excuse me, for the Rio Rancho Event Center Super Show. Packed it again. I'm part of the State Athletic Commission stuff. I'm a licensed promoter. I'm the whole thing.
Right.
So with that said, I get exposed to the numbers. I kind of get to see what it is and how much money it makes and how it works. And it's incredible the amount that comes into the community through WWE. They just do a tremendous job of infusing. I think it was like 6,000 in attendance at the Rio Rancho Event Center. So kind of a crazy night.
Oh yeah. And you and I did a lot of legwork for DCCW as well.
That's funny you said that, right? So so you and I and Turbo Tony, to a much lesser extent, classic Turbo Tony. So we went out and we, with permission from the Rio Rancho Event Center, we went through proper channels. We went out and we papered the parking lot. We put flyers on. We had 1,200 flyers, Gabe. There were 0 flyers left.
Oh,
we put out 1,200 of them.
Frozen fingertips. Just my feet were cold, and I definitely walked up on some cars that were engaging in some activities while I was.
What does that mean? Oh, like are you talking about like backseat making out, like in Back to the Future?
Well, no, I wish it was that. It was probably putting some substances in themselves that they shouldn't have been.
What do you like partaking? Are you talking about partaking?
Yeah, they were partaking, and they get freaked out when you walk up on them, and you're like, "Oh, I just wanted to tell you about my monthly wrestling show at the historic El Rey Theater downtown."
Yeah, don't you know? The introduction I always do is, "What do you mean you don't know about Duke City Championship Wrestling at the historic El Rey Theater?" That's the one I always open.
Because they have wide eyes, Well, what are you doing, bro? Why are you coming up to me?
We did have a lot of fun doing that, though, right? So
Yep.
I was moving throughout the parking lot doing the whole thing, and I had never really flyered. Like, you've been in music forever, and we kind of came up with this idea, not last minute, but we executed it kind of last minute. And I was like, well, I'll wait for the show to start because the parking lot will be full. The parking lot was full whenever we got there. Like, we got there at 6 o'clock for the 7 o'clock show, and there was already 1,200 cars there. We just said, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Oh no, and it was great. The people that were excited, I don't know. We rarely get a chance to have like 6,000 of our target audience.
Yeah.
All in one place for the same thing, So that was incredible. Like getting to talk to people and also be like, hey, when people walked up, I'm like, hey, check this flyer out. We do the pro wrestling shows every month down at the historic El Rey.
Well, and the kind of the sentence I heard was, do you guys get weird? The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
It's a super family friendly product, but yeah, we do get weird. And I think a little bit, that's what pro wrestling needs to be. We talk about, I'm going over a lot, kind of like the heritage of the sport and why it's, in the state that it's currently in now, which, by the way, is as good as it's ever been. If you're not familiar with pro wrestling right now, it is not even close how it's better than pro wrestling that you remember when you were a kid. And I think a thing that we're doing, in my opinion, really well with Duke City Championship Wrestling is we're taking a lot of those historic tropes that you're familiar with. A lot of our performers are professions. We have a magician, and we have a homeless guy, and we have a race car driver, and we have, all these different things, and they're also a lot of people that you can relate to. We have guys that look like you. We got the entire like rainbow spectrum of performers. We got them size wise. We got them all. We got guys that look like they could be on WWE physically. We got guys that look like they would be laughed at if they were on WWE. We kind of have the entire spectrum of entertainment. Excuse me, as I'm overcoming a cough. And because we have that spectrum of entertainment, it relates to so many people in the audience. And I'm watching the program the other day with a friend, and as we're going back and taking notes and doing fun stuff, which, by the way, Gabe, you sitting in last
Yeah.
week on the program. Very good. You were very entertaining. I was incredibly surprised.
Thank you. That's I appreciate the compliment because it's so rare.
Yeah, and often you don't deserve them. They're just given
Right.
to you, and they give you a false understanding of your value. That's not really there.
15 years of it,
Unacceptable. Really, just a bunch of gaslighters in your life, just a bunch of people lying to you. But this is like a fun thing, right? We're creating a thing that's enjoyed not just by pro wrestling enthusiasts, but by goer outer, by downtowner, by I enjoy the evening human being, and
Right.
we're not able to do it every weekend. Not to spoil the next event. Our next event in Albuquerque, and I'm not talking about the Clovis show on the 24th. That's on a Saturday. We're going to Clovis, February the 24th. I'm talking about our next show in Albuquerque. It's not on a Saturday. Like, I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, we're going
the
back.
next February one, we're back to Thursdays. Like, we're doing that thing the way we were doing that thing. And yeah, we're drawing the biggest crowds we've ever drawn. And yeah, we're moving the most merchandise we've ever done. And yeah, we're selling the most booze we've ever sold. And yeah, like, all those things are true. We're gonna do that on Thursdays too. Don't think that it's exclusive to the
No.
night of the week. It's the product itself.
Well, and that's what it is. I think it doesn't really matter too much what day of the week it is. It it's completely banger event every time, no matter what day of the week.
Big thank you to the live chat for joining us at the time of recording. A bunch of individuals who support Duke City Championship Wrestling regularly, including Carlos Candelaria, who better be at the show early this upcoming Saturday. There is a very fun, very creative start to the show. You were at the El Rey today. Did you see any of the stuff, Gabe, that's going to be incorporated?
I was quite taken aback. I got in there and I was like, "Oh, this is happening."
Yeah, it's going to. Big thank you to our friend Chris Losak at Astro Zombies who really stepped up and came through. But let's just say the start to the show on Saturday tonight, if you're listening to Wrestling here in town, the best start to any pro wrestling show you'll ever see. The opener is the main event. We have Jacob Fatu. The opener is the main event. We have Thunder versus Turbo Tony. The opener, I cannot stress this enough to you, is the main event. We have Lilith Grimm coming to town, making her Duke City Championship Wrestling debut. The opener is the main event. Do not be late to Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, I got just the idea of what's going to happen, and it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go over the card at length. Obviously, we're going to talk about the entire thing. We do want to make sure everyone's aware. Duke City Championship Wrestling, DukeCityChampionshipWrestling.com. The website has been redesigned and redone. It is looking absolutely great. All the information on the promotion, all the information on our performers. If you want to reach out to us, be a part of the product that we're creating, please go through that. Please take that avenue. Social media always happening. That's at DCCW in so many places, or DCCW on YouTube. It is tremendous outlet to get a hold of us. You like us, we like you. It's about connecting. It's about going back and forth.
We get back to them quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. We get messages and messages all the time.
Yeah, and what we do with those messages is if they're of a valuable idea, we incorporate them into the show. It's in the show. It's so many different levels. It's not just the performance in the ring, right? It's the backstage stuff. It's the lighting. I had my very good friend Isaac reached out. His father reached out to me, and Isaac has been at the last couple shows. If you saw Isaac, you would recognize Isaac. He's a young man. Moves around with the assistance of a wheelchair. Just an absolute great kid. He wants to be part of the game. He wants to be part of the thing. And deal. You know what I mean? Like, who am I to tell a young man he can't be a part of it? Your kid is 13. Like, he's a part of the promotion.
Yeah, he's the bellman.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of production to this thing that just involves a lot of fun individuals and the community. And Duke City Championship Wrestling is obviously super proud to incorporate those. We're at Comic-Con this weekend, right? And we're gonna have appearances by a bunch of our performers. I know Eliza Hayes is going to be there. We're going to do some fun. I know Mr. Happy is going to be there. I know Moshpit Mike is going to be there. We're going to do some promo stuff. We got a really nice setup. I think it's going to draw some attention, draw some eyes. And Comic-Con is like a fun destination one in town. And for Duke City Championship Wrestling to be able to be a part of that is just kind of showing that solidification of the whole thing. Also, and we mentioned this, Cinco de Mayo, we're going down to Las Cruces. It's not just here. It's the state, Gabe.
Oh yeah, and people forget how young we are as a company.
Yeah.
There's been a total, like, just in a few months, the amount of growth that we've had, and the amount of the state that we're going to be hitting, in 2024,
Yeah,
is
it's gonna
something
be
I'm really excited about.
It's going to be super special. So, Duke City Championship Wrestling at Comic Con all weekend, 3 to 6 on Friday. We're going to go the noon or 11 special entry. So, 11 special entry. We're going to go all the way up till, well, we're leaving at 6. Like, we have the show at 7. That's what it is. I know Comic Con's open till 8. There's a fun costume contest that night that my co host on Two Men On, Van Nunley, is hosting. That's going to be a lot of fun. Costume. What is what verbiage I'm coming up?
The costume play,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that stuff. People get so creative, and you realize all the uses for foam.
Yeah, well, and I have a Hobo Hank fit, so if I were to enter, I would win. But we'll be at Duke City Championship Wrestling,
It
and
wouldn't
then
be
obviously that we have that Missy Hyatt. That's not what I meant to say. Missy Hyatt will be joining us on Saturday the 20th. That's from noon to 3. She's gonna be signing autographs and shaking babies and kissing pictures or all those things. And then on Sunday, Jacob Fatu will be with us. He will join us at the Comic Con booth 12 to 3 on Sunday. Where we'll have photographs, we'll have the whole thing. You can kind of make it work for you as a fan to get a chance to be with they. Let's do this, Gabe. Let's go to break, and when we come back, we'll start breaking down the card for tonight's show. If you're listening terrestrially, if you're on the podcast, it's just gonna be a lot of laughs, really. You're Gabe Gambino. I'm Fred Slow. This is Going Over on 95.9 FM and AM 610, home of playoff and Super Bowl coverage, the sports animal. Welcome back to the program. It's going to be a banger of a Saturday here in the historic Albuquerque area, primarily the historic El Rey Theater. Is Duke City Championship Wrestling, a genesis to a new year. It's our first event of 2024. So every single person in town who took the under on 2024, if you said 2023, you're out. You lose. You're out of the pool. You have lost. We are into 2024. I'm Fred Slow. You're Gabe Gambino. Okay, Gabe. I got the card in front of me. We're going to go through it together for the show tonight. It's going to be a good one. So doors at 6, Man High plays music at 6:30. Now, is it true you're going to play more than 6 songs?
We like we always do. Yes, yeah, that is going to happen, and yeah, we might even play some of the songs we played before.
Okay, now
because we're a band.
Now, rumor has it you're going to open and close with Freebird. There's some truth there.
Yes, well, every song from the beginning to end is going to be different renditions of Freebird.
So smart. That's the smartest thing. Like,
yeah, you can't go wrong. So, well, technically, it's going to be 3 songs, but it's just 3 renditions of Freebird because we only have like, what, 45, 50 minutes?
Yeah, so one start of Freebird is what you're saying.
Right. And we're gonna pipe in other musicians so we can, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's like 8 guitarists and Leonard Skinner, so it's gonna be hard to pull off.
Is that a fact?
I believe it is. I'm not a scientist, but I I think that's how it goes.
You believe that is close to accurate. So
yeah, it's a lot more than we have.
I'm not trying to spoil anything about the show. Like, you're going to play, we're going to do the national anthem. It's going to be great. I'm not trying to spoil anything about the show. The opening match of the show is going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen. The opening to Duke City Championship Wrestling this Saturday night, if you're listening locally, January the 20th, there was a catastrophe at the last show. At the last show, a wrong was done. Jerry Vendetta, professional wrestler Jerry Vendetta, took from the stands a super fan, accosted, assaulted, injured, Gabe.
Put a combo on him.
2 fatally injured a Duke City Championship Wrestling fan. Killed, Gabe. Killed a fan.
And, definitely the most despicable thing we've had
in the history of all pro sports.
Dude, maybe in this country.
Maimed, says friend of the show, Mark. It is done. What has been done is done. And what we're going to do, and this is all we can do, is we're going to celebrate homie.
And we got to make it right. We also have to give thanks and recognize the contributions as a fan
Yeah.
that Homie
They want her.
and his homies have brought, to our organization.
Broke him in half, says friend of the show, Carlos. So we're going to open up celebrating the life of Homie with Duke City Championship Wrestling. Now, according to the live chat, Homie, there's an argument. Did he even pay for his seat? Doesn't matter. I know what ringside seats cost. They don't cost a man's life.
The thing is that that's nobody's business what Homie did to get
That's
there.
That's a good point.
It's nobody. Why don't you let us worry about that?
When you get down to the bones of it, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, no bones about it.
Thank you.
And I will not take any Homie slander.
No,
not in this program.
There's a lot of things to get excited about. Don't get a boner over this. It's not like that.
Maybe his friends feel boned.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it was with Jerry Vendetta, a bonehead move. That's what it was.
It's a numbskull move is what it was. And
yeah.
And one less friend, they have a skeleton crew now, and it's going to take a skeleton key to unlock the justice, I think, that Homie deserves.
A lot of people are going to want a key to get in early to the historic El Rey. You can't. 6 o'clock. That's when the doors open.
That's right. We don't even have keys.
Friend of the show, Carlos Candelaria, says he has a bone to pick with Jerry Vendetta. Yes, he does.
Jerry Vendetta it was such a heel move. I knew he was I knew he was a real jerk when we had Explora, and he shows up and he just he pisses in the metaphorical Cheerios.
I don't like that. Did not like that at all. So be there early. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to go really well. Do not miss the start to the show. That's all I'm saying.
No.
The start to the show for the first time in the history of Duke City Championship Wrestling, not a wrestling match. Like, what are we doing?
It's very us though. I feel like there's just stuff we could do and we make it. And they're like, yeah, that flies. We had Santa Claus at the last show. It was December 3rd.
It flies the way that Homie did through the air.
Now he definitely had. I mean, he put the works on him. You know what I mean? He body slammed him. He suplexed him. He gave him a couple finishers there that I saw, and I refuse to learn Jerry's moves, what they're called.
No, why? Yeah, why would you?
He did them, but he did them.
I tell you, they're dirty. Is what they're. So the show's gonna go. It's gonna start up with a banger, and then we jump immediately into our first match tonight: Chuy Martinez versus Fonzie. Chuy Martinez is on his own, just become hated by a lot of individuals in town. I get it. You know what I mean? It's tracking. He's done all the things the right way to be the wrong guy, and Fonzie just doesn't seem to catch any wins. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's going to be interesting to see these two guys go at it, see the balance of the crowd, because this crowd really wants to hate Chuy Martinez, and I think they're going to have a chance too against the fan favorite of Fonzie.
What got me was Chuy asked why people from Albuquerque smell like poo-poo. And he said poo-poo, right? I have an 18-year-old son, and I'll drop the S-bomb,
No.
He said poo-poo,
Well, and that's the way it should be in front of the historic El Rey Theater crowd, because
that's right.
It's family friendly. Yeah, it's family friendly show.
He could have said poop, not poo-poo.
No, I was into it. That's actually the only time I supported Chuy Martinez.
He said you guys smell like poo-poo, and then he said he's from the mountains.
Well, because I'm an actual professional in radio, I'm going to make sure we're moving this conversation towards the upcoming event instead of this weird reflection you're having on the old event. I don't understand this fixation that you currently have. Are you in love with Chuy Martinez? If you are, can you talk about how good he's going to do at the next show instead of spending the entire rest of this segment in last month's show, a show that's been over for nearly 3 weeks now? Could you do that?
Yeah, I could do that. That works.
It's wild. It's wild the way that works. Fonzie Lafleur versus Chuy Martinez. It'll be a good one to start. The house will respond accordingly, and you'll have that high energy early, right? So whenever we do go immediately into Lilith Grimm and Eliza Hayes, Lilith Grimm, by the way, making her Duke City Championship Wrestling debut.
I'm excited.
and that's going to be a good one, right? She's coming down from Colorado. She just recently wrestled Angelica Risk in OVW, and Angelica Risk, part of the DCCW roster. There's a
Absolutely.
history here. These two have wrestled Angelica Risk. We're going to have to measure up how these two go against each other. And Lilith Grimm is the part. I've seen Lilith Grimm. She's big and she's strong and she's mean and she's from Colorado, which means nobody likes her.
That's right.
She's going to come to town. She's going to fight Eliza Hayes, who is going to be a little bit tired because she was at Comic-Con the entire day before.
That's right. Signing autographs and shaking babies and all that stuff. And, Eliza, man, she always gets her work cut out for her, between Angelica Risk, who just so experienced, in the wrestling game and has had a lot to do. And now Lilith Grimm, who, monster is a monster. I've actually seen her wrestle now, and in OVW and stuff. So she's strong. She's so strong. And
she's and you're saying that's what it's two just like really impressive competitors. And Eliza Hayes has become a staple of Duke City Championship Wrestling. Eliza Hayes has become a cornerstone, not just of the division of women, but of the entire thing. For those two to be able to go at each other in front of that, what's going to end up being a packed house. We'll have well over 500 people at the El Rey Theater on the night of the 20th, which is tonight if you're listening terrestrially or otherwise on the podcast. It's going to be wild. And whenever that match ends, you're not going to be like, hey, that was a pretty good women's match. You're going to say, that was a pretty good match.
No, that's a good wrestling match.
Yeah.
And it's like watching Kitty, the metal band. It was all women. They go just as hard, Well,
obviously, I've never seen that band because it was all women. But yes, I understand the analogy. We're moving through the card for the Duke City Championship Wrestling event, Genesis and New Year at the historic El Rey Theater. That is January the 20th tonight if you're listening terrestrially. Match 4 is a banger. The way we shoot the TV show, it's the first 2 segments are the first show. The second 2 segments are the second show because we get 4 TV episodes per recording, right?
Correct.
So this is the feature match of the second episode, and this is 2 guys that have just kind of electrified the audience, right? Tommy Test doing it just a little bit longer. Plex has actually been with us a longer time, but because of the way bookings worked, he was never quite available. He knows the taste that is Albuquerque now. He knows he wants to be here. He knows he wants to be a part of this thing. And, if it's Jay Sizzle alongside of him or whoever, they know that if there are booking options, you take your boys first. And they're coming down to try to fight Tommy Test. Tommy Test, a native of New Mexico. Obviously, Plex, a jerk from Colorado. These two are going to fight in front of a packed house, here in Albuquerque. And it's an interesting one because it feels like a main event opportunity for Plex with kind of the trajectory that Tommy Test has been on. But Tommy Test is living in a world of distraction from Tyler Copeland as they're both gearing up for a big showdown in February. How excited are you for this one, Gabe?
Now, I hadn't seen Plex yet, but Plex has been making a stamp in our organization.
Yeah.
His last match against, I think, Delgato, right? He took it to him, and, he put a beating on him. And he came in and he electrified our crowd with his stupid Colorado green chili necklace that he was wearing, which is absolutely inferior to New Mexico green chili, by the way. But he came in and he knew how to rile the people up. And then Jay Sizzle, on top of that, has a mouth on him. He comes out, he lets us know that we suck and they rule and all this stuff. And Tommy Test, actually was on Real Show that he was like, dude, I'm gonna leave him with less teeth. And Tommy Test.
Yeah, that's the thing with Jay Sizzle, who's actually now joining us in the live chat, making sure that we're referring to Plex by his Christian name, which is the Livus Mex Plex.
The Livus Mex.
Yes, the Livus Mex Plex. There's a lot of X's in there, and there's a lot of X's in the equation for Mexplex to come out ahead here. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one for because Tommy Test, as we mentioned, he's just got his sights on Tyler Copeland. And, in the street fight that's going to come, in February is going to be a real special thing. And to see these guys go at each other, Mexplex, unfortunately, looks to be the punching bag, as Tommy Test is getting ready for a showdown with Tyler Copeland.
Yeah, and Tommy's been on a tear. Like, he wrestles twice a weekend or something
Yeah.
like that. He's a busy guy, and he's out there. He's putting in that work, and he's obviously a fan favorite. Like I don't know a room that he walks in. We did a show at Explora where young fans that hadn't seen us yet, they know that's the guy.
Yeah.
And so I think Tommy's on a tear, and I think he's on his way to contention.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree. I agree completely with that. We had a fun announcement that we didn't quite have the logistics figured out on, and it was supposed to be travel today, and it didn't work out. So we're gonna hold back on this big announcement. But I'm gonna tell you, when we do announce the February show, be ready to pull the trigger on being in attendance to that. We have a really heartfelt um, segment. I don't know what other verbiage to use of a DCCW performer that we literally logistically couldn't get handled because there's ice on their house and they couldn't fly out of where they live. So when the time comes that we can, we have a big announcement. Just plant that seed in the back of your mind, let that grow, use the imagination that you have. But the February show is as much of a can't miss as the one we're currently previewing right now.
oh
We'll
yeah,
hit, we'll hit one more match before we go to the break, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show. I love tag team wrestling as much as the next guy. I
oh yeah.
think tag team wrestling is a special kind of talent. Dominus, Musuke, and Valak Vile versus Enrique Delgado and Mr. Happy. Thank
Happy
you.
Taco, dude. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
It's
gonna be a banger, absolute banger. We,
Delgado is low key, maybe the most improved wrestler on the roster. Like he took that injury to start the year off, bounced back, and is just every single week just elevated those performances. And he's a guy that has gotten the crowd low key behind his wrestling ability. A lot of crowd gets excited for what you say on the mic or how you behave or whatever. He has a crowd of people who just love him for being a really good pro wrestler.
yeah,
And in his 2024, I think he might be the breakout dude of the year.
I completely agree with that because he doesn't have a lot to say ever. He comes out and he just works, and people love that. And I
Mm-hmm.
love watching him. He's so fun to watch. He's very agile, and he's got great speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and controversial loss for Mr. Happy last week. Obviously, main event opportunity going up against Thunder, his first shot at the Duke City Championship Wrestling belt, which he did not win, does not have the strap around his waist. And it almost, and this is just kind of how the business works, it's almost a reset for him, right? Like he's no longer at the top of the contenders list. He's now, and I don't want to use the word relegated, but he's now in tag team wrestling again. You got to collect some wins, and you got to a little bit through through the what am I rungs? You got to go through the rungs to get back to the top, and that's where Mr. Happy is as he teams with Gatto against Valak Vile and Dominus Muske, and I'm excited for it because it's a good way to get a lot of guys in the ring at once and have them put on a show.
And Valak and Happy just had a match. A couple months ago,
Right.
where it kind of ended controversially with Valak using his weapon against his confetti cannon, and he tricked it out so that Mr. Happy ended up on the receiving end of it. So
And what we'll do here, Gabe, is we obviously we got to continue to preview the rest of the match card, which is going to be a lot of fun. And we'll do it whenever we get back from the break. We'll also catch up on the live stream chat because it won't stop. Just everyone is impassioned about what we're doing. It's going over, and you're listening to it right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, home of playoffs and the Super Bowl.
you can say Super Bowl on this channel.
We're the official, like 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal is the official partner of the NFL Super Bowl. So there you go.
Yeah, Super Bowl. I can
It's not
say
the
it
big game. It's the Super Bowl.
It's called the Super Bowl, and we're saying Super Bowl.
The Sports Animal. Gotta grab a cough drop. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. I see some love for Mike is sweeping.
This cough is killing me. Are you ready? Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. Big thank you to everyone who's listening to us terrestrially here in Albuquerque. Bigger thank you to everyone who's taking the time to find us on the podcast and all the other options. If you listen to us on Spotify or Stitcher or iTunes or whatever, the biggest deal in the whole world, 5 stars, like, share, tell a friend, do all those things. It means the world to us. Okay. The live chat during the recording is going crazy.
It's popping, man.
Yeah, no one likes Mexplex. That's a given. That is a regular conversation that's had. Cool. Lots of people want homie to go over. I don't know what that means. Going over is this show. This show is called Going Over. I don't know what homie going over has to do with anything. Is Duke City Championship Wrestling doing a Valentine's Day edition? Are they?
I think it's always love anytime Duke City Championship Wrestling's in the building, you know. So you don't need a special day because every Duke City Championship wrestling event is full of love, and it's for lovers.
Regular co-host of this program, Saleh Taylor. He's prepping all at Comic-Con this weekend, but he's in the live chat. Big shout out to him. He's putting that bad boy together over there. He's doing a good job. Jay Sizzle's talking about how Valak Vile is amazing. He doesn't need any help, but Dominus Musquet is gonna do great, and he's not worried about the clown guy. That's obviously in reference to Mr. Happy. But yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of entertainment around this thing, and it's not just happening on show days. It's happening not just all week long, all month long between every show. It's been kind of fun to build this monthly product.
Oh yeah, and I do appreciate that because we kind of get to revisit these matches every month or every weekend on YouTube. We get to put the episode out, then we get to watch the episode together, and have the live chat popping for that, and discuss these matches, and we kind of get to build to the next ones.
Tyler Copeland versus Mosh Pit Mike. This is going to be a fun one. These are two dudes that wrestle incredibly different. These are two guys who physically look incredibly different. These are two guys who have both been in the game for a long time, though. And it's, you look at Tyler Copeland and he's in his mid 30s, and you're like, well, he probably hasn't been. Well, he started at 18. You know what I mean? Like he's been at it a long time. St. Louis, Missouri, and Austin, Texas, and all over this country. He's laced his boobs up now here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Mosh Pit Mike, very similar story. He's been all over the country wrestling. He's won titles in multiple divisions, or excuse me, in multiple promotions. A world of talent. And for these two dudes to have opportunity to go against each other, I think it's just incredible because, again, Tyler Copeland has the upcoming, encounter with Tommy Test, and Mosh Pit Mike just always seems ready for next man up. Gabe, when you watch these two guys go at each other, what are you most excited about in this match?
Well, yeah, so Mosh Pit Mike he's got the hardcore experience, you know what I mean? He's got experience in bloody and violent matches, and Tyler is pure strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have somebody who's not willing to go down versus somebody who's done everything to win. So we have somebody that doesn't want to lose and somebody that really wants to win. I think this is like an intriguing matchup in a way that I hadn't thought about. But when I saw that on the card, I was like, this is going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
We got two of the top level guys in our organization going at it and bringing two different complete styles,
Well, and what we do that I'm really pleased about is we let everyone know the week of the event, exactly what the matchups are. How we get there, though, that's with the canon of the show. So you have to come in to see how it's introduced and see how it's part of the storyline. And that's a big part of being there in person. The YouTube show is great. Like, I love the YouTube channel. I love being on Comcast 26. I love all of that. Without the TV product, I wouldn't be interested in this thing.
Right.
But with that said, being there in person is so special. It's so special to see like the reactions of not just the performers, but those in the crowd. It's a really cool and unique energy.
Yeah, my favorite thing is getting that double dose. You know what I mean? Because you get to go see it live and you get to see it all unfold. But then when you go home and you watch it and the episode airs and you're like, oh, I didn't see that angle.
Yeah,
I didn't see why he got what he got from under the ring. You know what I mean? And somebody gets a weapon or something.
Yeah, and ProView does such an amazing job of capturing some of those angles and close-ups. and how incredibly improved they have been too. We were talking about Delgado in the last segment. Really, the most improved player of this whole thing might be ProView. It might be ProView Networks and how they've really figured out shooting pro wrestling. Because I mean, they shoot collegiate sports, they shoot high school sports,
right? And they're different angles, and they have a whole different mentality about how to film this thing.
I was talking to Alden Ione the other day, who's he's our on-site producer for ProView. This was the December 30th show. We got everything set up. The technology's good. We're golden. I'm in gimmick. You know, it's the whole thing. And Alden's taking a drag off a cigarette out back. And he's like, "You ready for this?" And I'm like, "It's wild. It's wild, the energy when you ask me if I'm ready for this." Like, it's like if it's that same, it's I you know how big I am. I used to play basketball, right?
Right.
It's the exact same as when I would get ready to do a jump ball to start a game.
Right. You're getting hyped up.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but you know, and with Alden, he and I have worked hundreds of games together. You know, because I broadcast for New Mexico Hounds for a bunch of years. He was my producer. I've done a bunch of stuff for high schools here. He was my producer. He's my guy.
Right.
You know, and for us to be able to like look across from each other and just know that synergy and know that chemistry. I love playing this sport. I love playing with these guys, you included, just to a much lesser level.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, absolutely. It's crazy how good of a team we have. You know, and you've said this before. It's like pickup basketball. You know.
Yeah.
We're all just showing up on the same court, and
well, you're saying it the right way. Yeah, we're all playing right now. Like, cool. You've been cool. I go to the Super Bowl every year. I go to the WrestleMania every year. I go to the World Series. I do all these cool things, right? I'll go to the Olympics when they come.
Right.
We're all in the historic El Rey Theater together right now. Like,
right.
We're all playing on the exact same court.
Yeah, and it's great. The thing I love is like we have a bunch of dudes with different experiences who bring what they bring to the table, and it's been fun getting, you know, like people that listen to my band or something to a show, and they're sticking around. You see them 2 hours later with a beer in their hand and a Hobo Hank t-shirt.
It was like, well, it was really nice meeting your wife and son, the only people who come to your shows. But yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. My wife doesn't go to my shows. Are you kidding me?
But no, it's like we're talking about being in the same place at the same time. We're talking about Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu has won championships all over the country. Jacob Fatu, part of that lineage, part of that bloodline, part of that American Samoan everything that is everything.
Right. Royalty.
Royalty.
This is royal family of wrestling. You know what I mean? And
he's coming to Duke City Championship Wrestling. He will be there. And he's not the main event.
Yeah.
He's facing Hobo Hank.
It is kind of a main event. You know, I feel like we have two almost. It's like a co-main, you know. And Hobo Hank, you know, he took some bumps like in the last match that he had against Charlie 50. And I'm interested to see how this all plays out because I don't know if you've seen Jacob Fatu. He's a pretty violent dude. You know, he wrestles crazy.
Yeah.
He wrestles crazy, you know, and it's gonna be a tough night for Hobo Hank.
Yeah, I agree. Matthew Robles will be in his corner. So will Saleh Taylor, as he is the shoot cousin of Jacob Fatu. I mean, they're literally blood. Yeah. So he, you know, he's not going to go to the ring without him. So that'll be interesting to see Saleh away from the microphone. Moshpit Mike is going to sit in with me on the broadcast. So that's going to be a lot of fun telling the story of Hobo Hank and Jacob Fatu. So that'll be great in a lot of ways. And then obviously we wrap up tonight with Turbo Tony versus Thunder and the long-awaited opportunity for Turbo Tony at the Duke City Championship Wrestling belt after he was cheated by Thunder.
You know, we didn't get a fair shake in the first, and we've had the same champion now who got his belt by, you know, shaky means. You know what I mean? This is as much this is a moral battle too, you know, for all of us to watch. And, you know, Tony wants that belt real bad. I just saw him earlier, and you know, obviously I see him a lot now, but he's really excited, and I think this is his chance to you know, to get it back.
Yeah, it's gonna be neat, you know, because there's such a big 2024, and if Turbo Tony can seize that belt and the first opportunity that he has to seize it, number one. Well, I guess if you don't count the ladder match, but at the first opportunity as the challenger to get it, and then get it in the opening show, the opening month of 2024. Oh, the things that you can do with that. Oh, the things you can do with that momentum.
The whole year.
We're doing border wars, right? We're going to Clovis. We're going to fight Texas. You know, who's the main event of that right now? Is Thunder. He's our champ. If it's Turbo Tony, that's a different story. That's a completely different story.
Yeah, kind of negates that, you know, a little bit. Wherein, you know, I think we'd have to do some shuffling of the, and I believe, right, the legal team at DCCW, there's no loopholes in this one, right? There's no, it's the participant. This is Turbo Tony versus Thunder, and it's a fair shake for the first time, you know?
Well, I don't know what I don't know, but I know I'm going to try my absolute best to not ever let this fan base down again the way that they were let down when Turbo Tony and Hobo Hank were robbed by Thunder and Matthew Robles and La Migra, because it was unacceptable. And with the way this fan base is turning out now, you know, with the way it's, what do we have? We have a steady 400 regulars. And then what? A bunch of people finding it for the first time. And there's not a lot of people that go to just one show. You've either been to no shows or you've been to one show and you've fallen in love with it and you come again. Those are the only two types of people.
And you can't miss it, you know?
No, because you love it. Or at least you're trying to love it.
Oh, no, this, you know, and it's definitely, you can feel it in the room. And especially this last show that we did, I feel like it's going to be even bigger this time. Is the last time you could feel it 5 minutes in. Doors open, you know, we finished our first song, like playing on stage, and you're like, oh, this crowd's here for, they're here, you know.
Correct.
They're here to be entertained. They're here to, you know, see what we're bringing them. And every month what we're bringing them just gets better.
It's going to be an absolute banger of a weekend here in Albuquerque. We just went through the card with you. Don't forget, all weekend long, we're talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Duke City Championship Wrestling has a presence at Comic-Con. We got a booth. Come hang out with your boys, meet some of your favorite performers. Big thank you to Peach, who's going to be manning the booth for us all weekend. She's just the absolute best. It's going to go good. It's going to go really good. I am hosting a fun panel on Saturday. That'll be at 2:00. That's Trish Stratus, Kevin Nash. That's Booker T. We're going to talk pro wrestling. We'll go about 45 minutes, an hour. So don't be late to that because you're going to miss some of that. Also, that's correct. Trish Stratus will be there. Therefore, you can't, Gabe. They're not going to let you around her.
Oh, come on. I thought they dropped the lawsuit.
It's not a lawsuit. It's an understanding. And you're not the guy. You're not the one for this.
But that's what I've been telling her since I was 12. In every letter I write.
She wrote a letter to Playboy one time.
I put cologne on it, you know, so she knows.
From me.
So she knows. I changed the name.
We're at that point, Gabe, where we got to wrap it up. You got final words before the big show?
Yeah, as always, I'm always thankful, and I cannot wait for tonight at the historic El Rey Theater. And sometimes my favorite part is, like, we finish that last song, I get to sit down and enjoy some amazing professional wrestling here in the Duke City.
That's a little ironic because it's also my favorite part when you're done.
I think it's a lot of people's favorite part.
For Gabe Gambino and Manheim, thank you so very much, Gabe. For everyone who joined us in the live chat, that means a lot to us. For all that tuned in live because we do this at time of the recording, we do it on a live stream on the social media. Thank you. You know, this stuff's fun. It means a lot to us.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of pro wrestling tonight, like a ton of it. It's going to be a blast. Come and laugh with us. If it's your first time, say hi to me. Like, I know it sounds little. I get paid in high fives, Gabe.
That's right.
It's my whole thing.
You know, you can't miss the man. He's and he's always thankful too.
For Gabe Gambino, for everyone at Duke City Championship Wrestling, I'm Fred Slow. Good job, everyone. GG.